tried to be the same all through this thing, you know. Naturally, you learn a lot about people, and you're involved in a lot of different situations. But I've tried to be the same, I mean, the way I was brought up. And I've always considered other people's feelings. I've never, in other words, I didn't kick anybody in a way. I've always treated people just like I would like to be treated myself. And I consider other people's feelings. I don't assume the attitude of get these people out of here like I have heard of being done, because those people are sincere in their feelings. If they want autographs and pictures and things like that, I don't just sign the autographs and the pictures and so forth to help my popularity or to make them like me. I do it because I know that they're sincere, and they see you and they want an autograph to take home. And they got an autograph book. They've got their little camera and everything, so you have to know that. And if you don't do it, well, you make them mad at you. They don't understand. You hurt their feelings, and you make a lot of enemies that way. And for no reason, because it's as simple as this. Once you get involved in this racket, business, your life is public, really. Regardless of what anybody says about my private life is my own. Well, it is to a certain extent. I mean, everybody has to have a certain amount of privacy, but once you get involved in this business and you're doing a public service, you're trying to entertain people, your life is not your own, really, because people are going to want to know what you're doing, where you are, what you wear, what you eat. These things are natural, you know, normal. And you have to consider that. You have to consider that these people are sincere. They don't know the kind of life you lead. They don't know what kind of person you are. And so I try to remember that. That's all. It's simple. It's no problem. It's no big effort that I put forth. And I don't have any plans or anything. I just act on my own initiative. This is the way I feel that is the right way, like I have everything else. And thank God I've been pretty fortunate. I haven't made any bad decisions and everything. But just the way I was brought up, my surroundings, my mother and my father and the whole family were always considerate of other people's feelings. I'm proud of the way that I was brought up to believe and to treat people and have respect for people. And when I am pushed to a certain point, I have a very bad temper. But that doesn't happen very often. Of course, everybody has a temper. And then I don't like myself later. But what I look at myself as, not being, I'm not really playing everything down, but as a human being, really, who's been extremely fortunate in so many ways. Although I have had and still have some very lonely and, there are times when I really don't know. It feels like I don't know what I'm going to do next. But I've experienced a lot of the different phases in life. I've experienced happiness and loneliness, the wealthy side of life, the average side of life, not having anything, but not knowing what it's like to have anything. So, and tragedy. Like losing my mother while I was in the Army, and although I think that things like that, as tragic as they are, tend to make you a little better human being, really, because you learn more about yourself. It gives you a better understanding of yourself as well as other people, and it can only help. It's funny, she never really wanted anything fancy. She just stayed the same all the way through the whole thing. I wish, there's a lot of things happened since she passed away that I wish she could have been around to see. It would have made her very happy and very proud. But that's life. I can't help it. I can sum it up fairly easily. I look at myself strictly as a human being who's, like I said, been very lucky, but whose life has blood running through my veins and can be snuffed out in just a matter of seconds, and not as anything supernatural or better than any other human being. I have a lot that I'd like to do, a lot that I'd like to accomplish in time, but I feel that it takes time to accomplish certain things. You can't overstep your bounds. I'd like to improve in an awful lot of ways, you know, especially in the entertainment business. For one thing, the acting thing. And naturally, I try to get better songs and sing a little better, things like that. But I like the business I'm in. I like to entertain people. The money or the financial end of it is not the greatest aspect as far as I'm concerned. It can't be, because if it was, it would show. And I wouldn't care about the other people, or I wouldn't care about a performance that I gave. Of course, I mean, it's great if you can get in a position to have things, you know. But I like to entertain people. That's why I pick all my records, and I try to pick the best songs possible. I try to do the best I can in the movies with the experience that I've gotten and everything. Well, I wanted to go to college. I wanted to play football. I have a great ambition to play football. I have had, and I still have, believe it or not. And I've got a touch football league back home. I like rugged sports. I'm not knocking people who like golf and tennis and the other things, but I like rugged sports, such as boxing, football, and karate, and things like that. I would say right now, all kidding aside, that the thing I keep up with most is professional football. I know all the players, I know all their numbers, who they play for, and I've had people quiz me on it, you know, just in games when we had nothing to do. And that's a big thing with me right now, and I watch all the games that I can. I get the films from the teams themselves if I can. But next to the entertainment thing and music, that I guess would be the biggest. I read a lot of philosophy and some poetry. Have you ever heard of a book called Leaves of Gold? It's by different people. It's different men's philosophy on life and death and everything else. Well, that type of stuff interests me, to get these different people's opinions on different things. But I'd like to get married. I'd like to have a family. It's a normal thing to do. I mean, who wants to grow old and be alone, you know what I mean? But I'm in no big hurry. I'd like to someday, but I mean, I'm in no big rush. I can't be. I have to take it easy and know for sure, you know what I mean? Still, I think it would be better to find that one girl sometime. It's a thing that you can't rush. A lot of people think if they're not married by a certain age that they're losing out. I don't think so myself. Me, I couldn't have rushed into a marriage, and I still can't. I have to be completely sure. I have to be able to trust them completely. I look for a lot of things now that I used to wouldn't have looked for, you know, a sense of humor, their taste for different things, just a lot of things. Their understanding of me, my way of thinking. It takes a while. I mean, it takes a while to find someone or to get to trust somebody like that. I like a man who's pretty much the same all the time, who's pretty straight, you know. He's himself to a certain extent. So I don't try to surround myself with a group of intellectuals. It's more important to try to surround yourself with people who can give you a little happiness, because you only pass through this life once, Jack. You don't come back for an encore. I learned, and I've had a pretty good lesson in human nature. What I've learned might not apply to other people who are not living the way of life that I am. So, because of my age now and the things that I've been through, the people and the situations that I've been exposed to, I've learned a lot about people, about life, about situations. It's been very beneficial to me, in that I have been able to help a few other people. And I have seen people in so many different situations. To give an example, if you've seen other people, and if you know it's a normal phase of life that everybody goes through, and Like a lot of girls between the age of 18, 22, 23, 24, a lot of them, if they're not married by then, it seems as though that some of them go through a stage of uncertainty. They're searching for something and they don't really know what it is. Because a girl has reached a lot of maturity at that age, more so than a man. And they're searching for something. And a lot of them are miserable, and they're lonely, and they're depressed a lot, and they try different things. They go to other cities, and that don't work out, and they want to go home, and then this and that. And if you realize that it's only a phase of life that you go through, you know, really, I wouldn't like to stay in the same vein. I mean, I wouldn't like to be at a standstill. I'd like to progress. I'd like to do a lot of things, but I realize that it takes time. You can't bite off more than you can chew in this racket. You can't go out of your limitations. You have to know your capabilities. Like, I have people say to me all the time, why don't you do an artistic picture? Why don't you do this picture and that picture? Well, that's fine. I would like to. I'd like to do something someday where I feel that I've really done a good job as an actor in a certain type role. But I feel that it comes with time and a little living and a few years behind you. I think that, really. And I think that it will come eventually. You know, that's my goal. You have to have something. But in the meantime, if I can entertain people with the things I'm doing, well, I'd be a fool to tamper with it. It's ridiculous to take it on your own and say, well, I'm going to change. I'm going to apply. I'm going to try to appeal to a different type of audience. Because you might not. You might not. And if you goof a few times, you don't get many more chances in this business. That's the sad part about it. So you're better off, if what you're doing is doing okay, you're better off sticking with it until, you know, until just time itself changes things. I mean, that's the way I believe, really. I like to work. Because I like to have a little time off, too, where I don't have to do anything, which I've had very little of since I've been out of the Army, but these obligations and things I had to do, you know. I've got to do just like I've always done, going by impulse and just what I feel on the spur of the moment. But that's the only way I can operate. Naturally, I was 19 years old when I started out. So you get a little older, you learn a little more. You see things a little differently. You see people a little differently, you know, the usual things. Well, I've never really thought about it, you know, not having a son or not having a child or not knowing what it's like. I don't know exactly, but I think my biggest thing would be consideration for other people. The thing I was talking about, consideration for other people's feelings, because in doing that, you can keep yourself from becoming hardened and hard, you know, therefore making you, I think, a better human being, really.